Hi everyone, welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. Settle in, because what I'm about to tell you is stirring every corner of the industry. A storm is brewing around Cemre, Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım, the pair everyone has been watching, analyzing, and secretly rooting for. Their love story has lived on a seesaw for months, and tonight, that delicate balance rattled again when an unexpected voice stepped into the spotlight, Cemre's own representative. The line that set everything ablaze was blunt and icy: Cemre's reconciliation with Gökberk was a mistake. And with that, the whispers became headlines. For a long stretch, Cemre and Gökberk had been orbiting each other, breaking apart and snapping back together with an energy that kept fans dizzy and invested. A brief separation not long ago had everyone bracing for a permanent ending, and yet, just weeks ago, they found their way back. Their reunion wasn't loud, just soft signs, muted likes, a shared playlist, a photograph of the same sunrise from two angles. Fans celebrated, convinced this time would be different. But the warmth was barely settled when murmurs from inside their circle suggested the glow wouldn't last. According to those who claimed to know, the first ripple came from a private conversation. In it, Cemre's manager, frustrated and protective, laid out concerns to a trusted few. The words were clinical, sharpened by experience. While Cemre's momentum in the industry is surging, her relationship is siphoning her focus. The choice to reconcile, they said, wasn't strategic, it was emotional. And in the unforgiving pace of show business, emotional choices have a cost. That sentiment made its way from closed doors to open feeds with a speed no one could stop. Once the quote surfaced, the online world cleaved into two opposing camps. Some argued that the representative was only doing a job, guarding a brand, preserving stamina, insisting on clear priorities at a turning point in Cemre's trajectory. They swore that hard truths sometimes sound harsh, but they keep careers from slipping. Others recoiled, calling it interference in a place no one should enter. Her heart is not a strategy, one follower wrote. If Cemre is happy, that's the only metric that matters. And between those extremes, the heat rose. The other half of the story, of course, is Gökberk. Sources say the words shook him, not just because they cut close, but because they came with authority. He reportedly told a trusted friend, "No one has the right to speak about Cemre's life like that." It was a line drawn with quiet conviction. Whether that conviction was fueled by anger or protection, no one could say. But insiders hinted that his refusal to shrug off the allegations might stir new friction between camps, team versus team, friend versus friend, love versus timing. As for Cemre, her silence has been eloquent. No official statement, no press notes. But online, she's been speaking in calm, careful fragments. Living a simple life. Finding myself. Choosing bandwidth. Small captions beneath ordinary moments, a cup of tea in morning light, a notebook page, a walk without makeup or entourage. Fans read between the lines, translating the quiet into a response that kept the speculation alive without spilling into a fight. All of it has placed their bond at the center of the entertainment conversation once again. Commentators and casual fans alike are asking the same question: how much strain can a relationship bear when the workday never ends and every gesture gets measured? The uncertainty has its own rhythm, tapping in the background of their projects, their endorsements, their everyday decisions. Whether this episode becomes another bump or a breaking point remains to be seen. What makes this moment even more electric is that the coverage isn't about blush-colored selfies or cute behind-the-scenes moments. This time, the focus is squarely on a professional judgment, made by someone paid to protect Cemre's calendar, her sleep, her brand. Behind the scenes, the word "mistake" was reportedly used like a gavel. And in a business where perception can determine opportunity, that singular word reverberated far beyond a private chat. Their story has never been a straight line. They met working long nights on a set that turned into a sensation, their chemistry impossible to miss, even when they weren't sharing the frame. That spark slipped out of the script and into real life, and for a while, it felt inevitable. Then came the first pause, the careful statements about needing space, the silence that felt too loud. Fans feared the thread had snapped. Yet recently, they stitched it back. It wasn't performative, it was measured, two people moving toward each other with caution, as if aware that every step would be judged. Still, if the recent days have proven anything, it's that private joy can collide with professional strategy. Insiders say the representative voiced their worries openly among friends. Cemre is at the peak of a critical arc, scripts arriving from international producers, global campaigns teetering on the edge of yes, and that adding emotional turbulence right now could drain precious energy. This was a heart-led decision, the manager is rumored to have said, and professionally, it was the wrong one. Whether those words were a warning or a lament, they landed with visible force. Once those whispers leaked, the internet took over. One side rallied behind the idea of structure, protect the peak, streamline the schedule, dodge the detours. They commented that Cemre has matured in how she chooses roles and that any romance should orbit her craft, not eclipse it. The opposing camp railed against the tone, insisting love isn't a liability to be managed like a time slot. They posted that Cemre gets to define what work-life balance looks like for her, and anyone else's calculus is irrelevant. Throughout the storm, reports suggest Gökberk kept his counsel tight, sharing frustration only with those close enough to know how he listens more than he shouts. Our relationship is ours alone, he is said to have told someone within reach. It's a simple sentence, but in this climate, it reads like a manifesto. The suggestion that an external verdict could tilt their internal balance touched a nerve, and whether that nerve turns into conflict or clarity will become apparent in the days ahead. Cemre's feed, meanwhile, became a window and a shield. She posted about returning to herself, about simplifying, about waiting for the right moment. The photos weren't glamorous, they were soft, textured, real. A couch, a scarf, a dim lamp. The mood felt like a reset, perhaps intended to remind everyone, including herself, that success doesn't have to be noisy and that happiness often hides in smaller rooms. Her followers flooded the comments with interpretations, each one reading their own lessons into her captions. The couple's history feeds this reaction. From the beginning, their bond was chronicled not only by cameras on set but by the cameras in their pockets. They were careful and yet somehow never anonymous, a paradox familiar to those who both crave normalcy and live in the glow of public interest. Every peak had a shadow, every shadow a rumor. And still, they kept finding each other across the distance that fame creates. But the friction between career strategy and the heart is sharper now. Cemre is fielding offers that could redefine her path for the next 5 years. Directors are lining up, brand teams are carving out windows, and everyone wants an answer yesterday. The representative at the heart of this controversy, the one who allegedly used the M-word, mistake, was likely looking at calendars and long-term arcs, not late-night laughs and inside jokes. When you're tasked with building a legacy, any unknown factor can look like a risk. On the other side, there's a story no calendar can tell, the way Gökberk knows when to step back so Cemre can breathe, the quick messages he sends before a difficult scene, the pride in his eyes when her performance lands. He, too, has scripts waiting, scenes to lead, a fanbase that expects the intensity he's known for. If anything, friends say, their schedules have made them gentler with each other, more deliberate about time. That's what made the reunion feel hopeful rather than naive. Still, public pressure bends things. You start to speak in shorter sentences. You curate your face. You parse your words in captions because you know someone is reading them like a codebook. When the representative's remarks leaked, that decoding went into overdrive. Fans camped in opposite corners, and the couple found themselves standing in the middle of a debate they didn't start. Their challenge now is whether to let the noise write the next act or to write it themselves, privately, quietly, and at their own pace. As tonight settles, no official declaration has come from Cemre. No press note, no joint post. Only those glimmers on her page, simple living, self-return, patience, that suggest she's protecting her peace while the dust flies above her. Meanwhile, Gökberk's stance, as relayed by people who know him, remains consistent: respect their boundary. The message is not flashy, but it carries weight. In a field that thrives on spectacle, restraint can be the bravest move of all. What's undeniable is that their relationship has once again become the headline, not because of staged romance but because of a challenge posed from the inside, can love and ambition grow together without one dimming the other? The representatives' alleged assessment framed their reunion as a misstep, a detour on a narrow path. Yet fans remember the softness in their interactions and wonder if the heart, despite everything, might be the compass that keeps careers from feeling like cages. Whether this latest rupture hardens into distance or transforms into candor remains the question. We've seen this couple stumble, recalibrate, and press on. We've watched them exchange subtle signs like old friends who still know the other's favorite city view. For all the noise, the choice still belongs to them. If they choose quiet, we may not see the decision, only its results: a steadier gaze in photos, a gentler voice in interviews, a schedule that leaves just enough space for Sunday tea. If they choose a statement, it will set the tone for everything after. For now, the industry holds its breath. Team Cemre weighs timelines and opportunities, Team Gökberk measures steps and impact. The fans debate with passion, as if their votes will be counted. And somewhere away from all of that, two people decide how much of themselves to share and how much to protect. The real story is not the leaked quote or the split comments, but whether this moment turns them into opponents or partners with an even clearer pact. Only time will tell how their second chance plays out. You've been watching Secrets Behind the Stars. If you've been glued to every turn like we have, stay close, because the next days will speak louder than any rumor. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you want the truth behind the glitter, the heartbeat behind the headlines, and every quiet decision that changes everything.